So good morning everybody and welcome to Frankfurt. This is the fifth biggest city in Germany. I've come here just for 3 days on a city break. I came here just last night, so this is the first time I've had a chance to walk around the city in the daytime. And yeah, I'm just really getting some first impressions of the place. A big mix of residential buildings and high-rise towers. So Frankfurt is known as the business centre of Germany, and also it has the largest airport. So flights to Frankfurt are quite easy to get a hold of because there's a lot of traffic coming and going through this airport. Yeah, it's a very interesting place. It's always good to be in Germany. I like visiting this country and travelling around here. Right now I'm in what's known as the Bahnhofsviertel, and this is the area around the main station, right in the centre of the city. So a very busy thoroughfare, very busy part of the city with lots of life, lots of activity going on. Yeah, I'm really just walking around trying to soak up the atmosphere of the place at the moment, and I'm looking to do some sightseeing as well this afternoon. Yeah, it's just great to be in a new city. I always enjoy coming to a new place and getting to know, a new area with a new atmosphere and new smells and new people and that kind of thing. I'm just going to be walking about today and trying to get to know the place and see what this city's really all about. So like a lot of big cities, the train station is a hub for transportation and it's very busy. So here you've got taxis, trams, buses. Frankfurt's actually got an underground system. It has 6 underground lines that connect with overground lines, so it is a very comprehensive, public transport network, which I'm hoping to use today or tomorrow. Quite a big city. I think the population is about 750,000, so a very big place with lots going on. And because it is the business capital of Germany, there are a lot of people coming and going and doing business here for work reasons. So I get the impression Frankfurt is quite a wealthy city. There's a lot of building going on and a lot of nice cars. Most of the taxis seem to be Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, so you can see a tower just at the top there, and that's typical of Frankfurt. They have these high-rise, I imagine are office blocks sprinkled across the city. So right now I'm walking towards the old town, and I'm on a street called Münchner Straße, or Munich Street. And this is a really lively street with lots of Turkish restaurants, and I think it must be quite a Turkish area. So lots of kebab houses, but also coffee shops, bakeries, generally lots of markets. So like I said, I'm walking towards the old town, which is called the Römerberg, but I might stop somewhere on the way to have a coffee just to see what this bit of town's like, because it's quite lively, quite an interesting bit of Frankfurt. So it is coffee time. I've just stopped here at this place called Tostado, which is a really cool coffee shop right on the Münchner Straße. And I got myself a croissant and a white coffee for €5. Yeah, so this is very much the Turkish bit of town, I think. There's even a Turkish bookshop. And lots of Turkish and Arabic restaurants, cafes, things like that. Really interesting part of town. So I've got my German newspaper as well, so that I can practice my German with my coffee. And this is built from Frankfurt. How much did this cost? €1.30 it costs. Yeah, so this is the newspaper that I like to buy when I'm in Germany because I find it the easiest to read and it's got some interesting stories and interesting articles. So right now I'm at the Central European Bank, and this is significant because it's the place where the euro currency is managed from. So the euro is active in 19 countries across Europe, and here is the place where they regulate things like the interest rate and the supply of the euro, and you can see the big euro sign behind me. The euro has been in effect in some countries since the year 2000, and it is one of the world's major currencies now. So this is obviously a really important point for the history of the European Union, because this is where their financial centre is based, which is obviously pretty important. So yeah, if you're interested in business or finance, then this is an interesting place to come and check out. So this square is called the Willy Brandt Square, or Willy Brandt Platz. If we go a little bit closer, we can just see how big it is. Yeah, so it's pretty big, and obviously this is a symbol for the European Union. It came into use in a physical form in 2002, not the year 2000 like I said before. So yeah, that's interesting. So I think it was just the Western European countries that had it first, places like Belgium, Germany, France, and then it got expanded to other parts of Europe. This square is a really good example of seeing how the high-rise towers sort of contrast with regular sized buildings. So yeah, it feels a bit like the City of London or maybe New York, with all these high-rise tower blocks. Something that I've always found quite interesting about the euro coins, at least, is how they're all mixed up in different countries. So this €1 coin, you can see, is from Spain, but because it's common currency, there's no need to have any regulation in terms of which coins can be used in which country. So I find that really interesting, that whenever you get some change, it could be from anywhere in the Eurozone. So I'm continuing my walking tour of Frankfurt, and I'm heading for the Old Town now, and I can tell that the buildings are getting more historic in their style. I'm looking forward to checking out the Old Town. So I'm just coming into the Old Town now, and you can see that the buildings are becoming more and more historic and old. So this is the Weingut der Stadt, so this is the winery, official winery of the town or the city. So let's have a quick look in the winery. So here you can see some of the types of wine that they grow in the state of Hessen. You can see that there, Hessen. That's the state where Frankfurt is. And they've got red, white, and I think that's sweet wine in the middle. And this is all made in this region of Germany. And down here you've got this little courtyard, so you can see this must have been an important building, or maybe it is still at one point due to the architecture that they've got here. Very interesting. So let's go and have a look at the Römerberg, which is the main square of the Old Town. And this is the Römerberg, so the centre of the Old Town in Frankfurt. This is the town hall you can see right in front, and they are actually preparing for their Christmas market in this part of the city. So interestingly, the Christmas market doesn't start until next week, so I've actually come a week too early to enjoy the Christmas market here in Frankfurt. But yeah, very interesting architecture, beautiful buildings, and you can really get to know the culture of Frankfurt in this square. Have a look at the detail of the statues and sculptures on the town hall. Really ornate decoration. Look at these old doors. They've also got a tourist information centre here, which is really good to know. I might go in there and have a look. So in the background you can see the spire of the cathedral. These 6 buildings that you can see sort of right in front have been rebuilt since the war. So I think, yeah, a lot of this square was damaged or destroyed during the war, and these 6 buildings are quite an iconic part of the architecture of Frankfurt, and they've been rebuilt in the original style. So my original idea when I booked my tickets to come to Frankfurt was to check out the Christmas markets, but unfortunately they don't start until the 27th of November. And it's the 20th of November today, so I've come about a week early. Just behind the Römerberg square, we have the Kunsthalle Frankfurt, so the Frankfurt Art Gallery. Really interesting building compared to the old style buildings that they have in the old town. And as you can see up front, we are walking towards the cathedral now. So this smells very good. This is a bratwurst kiosk, so grilled sausage kiosk, which, as you know, in Germany is very popular. Looks good. And here we've got a nice smallish square with a bust in the middle. Let's see who this is. This is Friedrich Stolzer. Don't know who that is, but I will look him up. Yeah, so very beautiful little square here. So I imagine all of this will have been rebuilt after the war, as Frankfurt was hit relatively hard in the Second World War, like a lot of places in Germany. But they've retained the original style of the buildings, which is really cool. And we've got an underground station here as well. Yeah, Dom or Roma. Wow, very cool. Old-fashioned coffee house. Very stylish. And yeah, this is the cathedral. Have a look at the main spire. Very stylish. Alright, let's have a quick look inside the cathedral. Thank you. Wow, very beautiful. People have been lighting candles. I'm imagining this is a Catholic church, but I don't know for sure. Yeah, so you can see here the destruction that happened in Frankfurt during the bombing in 1944. But it looks like the cathedral was spared a lot of the bombing. So I imagine this is original. And this cathedral is called St. Bartholomew's Cathedral. Thank you. So the interior of the cathedral is really beautiful, very elegant, very old, and they'd done a very good job of renovating it and preserving it. So from what I can gather, it was one of the places that survived the bombing of Frankfurt in 1944. But you were also encouraged not to talk inside the actual cathedral area because people were praying and that kind of thing. So hence why it was very quiet and I didn't say anything. So yeah, but very beautiful place and very calm, very relaxing. And it's nice to see some of the history of Frankfurt. So you can see here the back of the cathedral with the really interesting stained glass windows. Yeah, really historic. Very beautiful building. And here they've got a classic German bistro with some very traditional German food. This is an Oktoberfest special, I think, Oktoberfest beer. So Frankfurt has some very traditional German food, and they've even got a beer garden. It's a little bit cold for the beer garden today, a bit windy and a bit rainy. There's lots of these bistro style places here. So what I'm doing now is I'm walking away from the St. Bartholomew's Cathedral and I'm going towards an area called Sachsenhausen, which is also a bit of the old town, but it's slightly different. It's on the south side of the river. So the central bit of Frankfurt is on the north bit of the River Main, or the River Main, I don't know how you say it in English. Sachsenhausen is on the south side of the river. So I'm going to cross a bridge soon. And this is also a sort of old bit of the town that has some traditional bars, restaurants, bistros, cafes and stuff like that. So I'm quite interested to see what that's like. So I'm now walking over the Alte Brücke, or the old bridge in Frankfurt, going from the north side of the river to the south. And this is the first time I've actually had a glimpse of the river here in the city. And the official name for Frankfurt is Frankfurt am Main. So Frankfurt on the Main. So the river plays a really key role in the city sort of today and historically. So it's good to finally get a look at it. Here you can get a really good view of the skyline of Frankfurt. On the right you've got the cathedral tower. And then as we go across it's more business district buildings. So office blocks and office towers, I think. But you can see just how wide the river is. It is a massive river. And I'm walking over to the south side now. And just arriving onto the south bank of the river now. So on this south side of the river, it's known as the Museum's Ufer, which means the museum riverbank. And they have lots of museums just right next to the river. This one's called the Icon Museum, and I think they have some more further along the riverbank. So this bit on the south side of the river in Frankfurt is a bit more residential, a bit quieter, less of a business district, more just for local people, schools, shops, bars, cafes. Although a lot of the shops are closed for some reason, maybe because it's lunchtime. But yeah, this is slightly more off the beaten track, but a nice traditional part of town. So I'm now on a street called Wallstrasse, or Wall Street, and this is the area where I was planning to have some lunch today because it's got some very famous bistros and restaurants and things like that serving German food. But everything's closed. So from what I can gather, lots of places close on a Monday in Frankfurt. So yeah, it's more of an evening thing, and a lot of the bistros in this area close on a Monday. So just one of those things that's hard to know about until you actually get to the place, because yeah, unless you check the opening times of all of the restaurants, then you just wouldn't know that kind of thing. Right, so because everything's closed in this bit of town, I'm going to walk back to the city centre to see if I can get some lunch in that part of the town.